evening, everyone, and welcome to season 3 of OSDIA Live. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo, zooming in to you from New Jersey. Joining me here today is Mary Kovach. Mary is calling in from where? Cincinnati today, Mary?
Cincinnati.
Okay. We also have Justin in Washington, D.C. at the OSDIA offices. Justin, how are you?
Good. How are you?
And our guest of honor this evening is actually not too far from me here in New Jersey, John Colaneri. You will know him from HGTV's Kitchen Cousins, America's all the kinds of shows, actually. They came to my mind because like 5 of them entered my head at the same time. But John is a mainstay on HGTV and with the Ellen DeGeneres Show and Rachel Ray. And we're going to talk all about his career here tonight. John, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me on. It's great to kind of have this talk, and it's always fun. I always love doing this, getting back and talking with a lot of Italians.
Exactly. Now we've talked a lot. We've done a lot over the years with your different projects. We've never actually talked about our shared Italian heritage. So maybe let's start off with that. Talk to us about your Italian background.
So I am 75% Italian, 25% Polish. My dad is 100%. My mom is 50-50. So that's kind of how the mix goes. Growing up in an Italian family, very interesting. The stereotypes, the comments that happen, yes, they're all true. Having an Italian mom, loves to embarrass me. Do all the fun things. But again, having our Sunday dinners and just it's one of those things. It's funny because when we started doing our HGTV shows, our construction company, the name of it was Brunelleschi Construction. So Brunelleschi being one of the most famous architects coming out of Italy, coming out of Florence, that was a big passion for my uncle, whose construction company it was, and my cousin Anthony. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. That's where this ball just kept on rolling. When we did our first show, Kitchen Cousins, they saw the Italian heritage automatically just in us. I mean, you just can't get, we're 2 Italian guys. We come across that way. It's how we speak, what we do. And one of the biggest things that we did that first season was we had Sunday family meals, and my aunt would always cook this big meal, pasta, fish, whatever it was. And it was so funny because HGTV loved it. It was like, they're like, oh, you do Sunday? Like, yeah, we do Sunday dinners. We'll get together. My aunt is a phenomenal cook. She'll cook all these meals for us. And they loved it. They thought it was, it was one of the best things. And that was part of the docudrama of our lives in our construction company. And it was great. We actually also, early on before TV even hit, we worked with Casa Colombo in Jersey City, and we redid their offices in downtown Jersey City. They have an Italian museum there. We redid that. We designed it. And when everything starts, so that's way before TV. Then when TV got going and they couldn't believe it, they gave my cousin and I the Italian Men of the Year awards. So it was really special to kind of get recognized for doing the work we did and with our Italian culture and giving back the way that we've done for so many years now.
Yeah. And so you've obviously touched on the beginnings of how your TV career started, but let's dive a little deeper into that. How did you get discovered? Not
the conventional way. So working in construction, I went to Penn State College. I would always come home in the summers. I have a couple uncles that have construction companies in North Jersey here that I've always worked for. So it was a great summer job. Got to work with my hands, be outside. I made some really good money. I loved working with the guys. It was always fun. And it was something that I loved. I knew I had a passion for it. I love to build. I love to design. And 2007, my uncle, my cousin, their construction company was really picking up, doing a lot of projects in the Hudson County area. So I started doing these multifamily renovations. They were great projects, really fun to do. 2009 comes along, we get hit with the real estate bubble. It was really hard times at that moment. The great part about it was one of our friends decided, she's like, well, hey, there's this network HGTV. I think you and your cousin would be good on it. I never even watched HGTV. I didn't have any clue what it was. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you want to come and film us on our construction site, feel free. It's totally up to you. And that's what she did. She came down. You have to imagine, it's crazy to say, but 2009, 2010, our iPhones, our smartphones didn't do what they do just 10 years later. There wasn't doing these big videos and filming with iPhones and posting it to social media was in its infancy. I mean, I think I had Facebook. Maybe there was a Twitter. Instagram wasn't even around. I mean, none of those things even really existed. So it's crazy that she decided to use her own camera, film us, and she put together this little edit, and she sent the video into a random production company in New York City. She didn't know anybody. She just literally Googled production companies, found one, sent the video in. The owner, but just by luck, his high school roommate worked at the DIY network, which was the sister network to HGTV. He loved it. He saw it. He said, hey, can we get some more footage of these guys? Send out some real cameras, not the little camera that she was filming us on. And they came out, they filmed us. This was in 2010. A year goes by, we don't hear anything. 2011, we get a random call to our office. They say, hey, we want to shoot this show. It's called Kitchen Cousins. Can you show up in Hoboken? We want to do a kitchen in 3 weeks. We're like, all right, sounds good. I guess we'll show up there. And that was it. And that was it. We literally showed up at this lady's house randomly, no clue who she was. She didn't know who we were. We started doing demolition on it. We designed, built her kitchen in 3 weeks. And that was it. That was kind of the train just kept on going. And from Kitchen Cousins, Cousins on Call, Cousins Undercover, America's Most Desperate Kitchens, and like you said, everything with Ellen, it just kind of kept on, snowballing after that.
I love that story. I've actually, in all my years of knowing you, didn't know how it all came to be. So that was very interesting. And I mean, what luck that you and your cousin Anthony had, right? In getting it going.
I tell people all the time, it was major luck because it was like the right time, the right moment. They wanted this. We were really one of the first, actually, I think we were the first docudrama on HGTV where it was two real life family members in their real company. I mean, there's a ton now. We've all seen them on HGTV, but until us, I don't think there was that. There were definitely couples, the brothers, but it wasn't their real, they didn't have companies. This was our real company. They would shoot in our offices, in our homes. I mean, that's what kind of went on starting in 2011. So I think it kind of spiraled, and now you see all these spin-offs and all these different shows that are on HGTV today. And it was really cool. It was a really fun experience. We got to do things that, I never would have got to do. But, as lucky as it was, we put in some incredible hard work to even get to that point. And the experience that we had with all of our construction projects to that point, really, it allowed us to prosper and really get ahead and get all those shows, because if we didn't have that experience, there's no way that we were to survived in that world.
No, definitely. Mary, I know you have a lot of questions.
I do. First, thank you for joining us this evening. We're really excited to have you. So out of all your successes, you have TV shows, books, you design things. Is there one in particular that you're most proud of, and what makes it so special?
So out of well, I always say the number one thing is really my kids. Those are, if I have to pick anything, always my kids, because That is the best part about being who I am now, is being a dad. But out of my design projects, construction projects, the best ones I've ever done have always been with the Ellen Show. It's hard to pick one because we did so many amazing, whether it was a veteran, a teacher, firefighters. She always had she had great casting, great people that she finds, and they really are these unbelievable heroes. And when you hear their stories and you see what they do, it makes you step back, because you think of your own life, and we all look at ourselves and we say, oh man, I wish, things are hard, and why are they hard for me? And then you see what others go through. I mean, the one veteran, he lost both of his legs. I mean, it was one of those things, you see the smile on his face, and he says, and so inspirational, he says to me, he goes, I wouldn't change anything. My life was meant to be this way. The man runs marathons with bricks in his backpack to honor the men and women in his unit that died, that didn't make it. So those are the things that are really, that they kind of pull at you and they say, everyone has problems. There's nobody in this world that doesn't have problems, doesn't go through tough times. But you always have to remember, there are people that it's a lot harder for them. And they keep on going and they keep on pushing. And when you see those stories and you see that inspiration, those are the best experiences, because I got to do something for them and they're so grateful for it.
Yeah, that is amazing. Is there anything that you carry from your Italian heritage to your business, like designs or tools or techniques that you use?
Oh, I mean, so Brunelleschi Construction, when my uncle started it, it really revolved all around Italian design and architecture. Italian design and architecture has always been at the forefront. When you think of when you think of Italian companies, you think of a Ferrari and you think of Gucci, and you think of all these amazing things. And I always tell people, in design and construction, it is a part of all that. When you look at fashion, when you look at the glitz of an automaker like a Ferrari, that's all part of when you're designing. When we started doing our kitchens in the Hoboken, Jersey City area, we were, I would have to say, the first designer builder to do Italian kitchens. We would import them. My uncle, some of his best friends are all from Italy. So we would import Italian kitchens, the lacquer cabinets, which many people in America don't know. Some seen it, but a lot of people don't know what they are. They truly are beautiful, and they look like art when they're up on the walls. It's not your traditional American kitchens that a lot of people are used to seeing. And when we started doing those kitchens, people were like, whoa, I've never seen this before. This is so interesting. And that was very early on. That was in the early 2000s when we started doing that. And now, yes, I think more contemporary style designs, you'll definitely see more of that European cabinets and things like that. But we brought that on from a very, very early on into our world.
You know what's funny that you're mentioning this, and I've never told you this before, but when I first saw your designs and Anthony's designs, it reminded me of Venice. Because when you go, I don't know if you've been to Venice. I don't know.
That's the one city I haven't. I have not been. I'm dying to go, but that's
and you will fall in love because the hotels are ultra modern. So I was very surprised by that, because you would think Venice, you think like Gothic, old world, and the outside of the buildings look like that, but the inside, it's things that are 10, 20 years ahead of its time. And when I look at your Instagram posts and I see your kitchens and your outdoor stuff and everything, that is what it reminds me of. I'm always taken back to Venice.
Yeah, and that's great that you say that, because that is exactly what we would always envision, especially, when you go down to, again, I'll go back to Hoboken, Jersey City area, you have these great, beautiful buildings on the outside. Of course, it has to blend in. You have all the brownstones. We would always restore the outside to its former glory. And then the inside to us was, well, we got to make this as European, sleek, and sexy as possible. And you're absolutely right, because when I would go back to Florence a lot. That's how it is in Florence. You can walk into a building, everything on the outside looks like it did 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 years ago. You walk inside and you're like, whoa, you feel like you're transported in time. And that's what the Italians do best. They really do. And that's why I said it's not just building and design, it's clothing, it's cars, jewelry, it's all those things. That's what they're known for. And in my world, I try to bring a little bit of that into someone's home. I feel that's really what it's about.
Yeah, no, and you do such beautiful work. Please go on John's social media and just check out everything, because it really is a work of art. It's not just your typical kitchen. There's a lot of love and planning that goes behind it,
A lot of
and
planning.
it's definitely evident. So,
Yeah.
Justin, I know that we have questions from our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, not surprisingly, we've had multiple people write in talking about how, you were the first in their favorite HGTV show, and they've watched all your different shows. I saw you on Ellen, so no
Yeah.
surprise there. And also a few comments about how you're their favorite Jersey guy. So just thought I'd let you know.
Thank you. Born and bred Jersey my entire life. So
There you go. There you go.
Always been that way.
Well, Mark D'Annunzio wrote in, he heard you talking about, you've been around Italy.
Yeah.
And he was wondering where your ancestral home is and where in Italy, where have you traveled to and seen in the old country, if you will?
Sure. So, so the last time I was in Italy, it was on my honeymoon. We went to the Amalfi Coast. Unbelievable time. We stayed in Ravello. It was like one of those cities that is just, there's no words for it, because you almost feel that it's fake. So that was the last time I was there, and I've been all over. Of course, everyone always goes to Rome, but into Florence, one of my favorite cities to stay in. So my family, outside of Naples, I would say about 45 minutes. Frosinone is the town that the Colaneri's are from. I was just telling this story a little while ago. I was going to stop there, but we didn't have time on our honeymoon. And my brother, who is a chef, he's a personal chef. He studied in Italy, and he lived there for about 8 months. Almost didn't come home, thank God, because my mom was going to go crazy if he did it. But he did eventually come back home. But he loved it there. Shocking. And he went to Frosinone, and he goes there. And my great grandfather came from there. He was a knife sharpener. They had their business, Colaneri Brothers, that would drive around Jersey City, sharpen all the knives for all of the businesses and the personal people that were there inside their homes that wanted their knives sharpened. So different than when you think of today, like that would never happen. But he goes into the town and he starts talking to people in his broken Italian that he kind of has, trying to understand. And he tells them that he's a Colaneri. And as soon as he says that, the whole town kind of erupts, because there are a ton of Colaneri's there. They start coming outside. He told me that they brought him into the house. They started making him food immediately. And as he's there, he finds out that town, the number one thing they do to this day is sharpen knives and make custom knives for people. And he bought myself and my younger brother our own personal knives from the town there. And it's really cool to see that the heritage brought all the way to America is still alive in that town in Italy. So really cool to kind of see that, and to know that there are so many Colaneri's back there. And actually, I should say, since our HGTV shows have been shown across the world in different countries, in Italy specifically, I had a lot of the Colaneri's reach out to me as soon as they kind of saw the show there through social media, saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe when we watch your show, I'm a Colaneri here in Italy." So really cool to see that too.
That's fantastic. That's a great story.
Yeah, I love that. That must have been really trippy to be famous.
He said it was wild. Like, it was like one of those things. He just, you don't expect it. It's so, especially, our great grandfather, we never got to meet him. He passed away long before we were born. And it's so crazy to know that that business pictures, because we have pictures of the Colaneri brothers truck they used to drive around in, to see that and to know that is where he came from. He learned that there as a boy and then brought it here. Really cool, really cool.
Your next show has to be in Italy, you know,
I
whenever
would love
COVID
to.
ends, and you know, you would make a killing there. And the Italians, they love their American reality TV. When I was over there a few years ago, it was so funny because Cake Boss, we all know Buddy
Yeah.
Valastro, it had just debuted. It was 2014 actually, so it was a long time ago. They were going nuts about Cake Boss, even though it was here for years, but they were just catching up. It's funny to watch.
Well, plus the Italian television is nothing like our television. You know, it's not even. I mean, I tried to watch some of their shows, and when I was there, I was like, no, sorry, this isn't. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. And you're absolutely right. They do love American TV. You know, any of the content that we're kind of putting out there, they do love that. And it's cool. It's cool just to, you know, to be able to do something that you care about, have a lot of passion for, which I do. I absolutely love my business. It's been a very fulfilling thing in my life to do, and to know that I have people from my own culture and even in my own my home country of Italy doing something like that and watching it and responding and caring. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mary, so before we wrap up here, I want to just throw it to you for one last question.
Sure. So what is one of your favorite Italian traditions that your family had when you grew up that you want to pass on to your children?
I would have to, I mean, you know, I think it's one of those things that kind of always for Italians revolves around food. You know, we've always for years and years, we've always on Thanksgiving especially, we've always had Monagot as like, that's our. I look forward to that more than a turkey. I got a turkey, I'm like, all right, well, whatever. But it's so funny because we would always make homemade Monagot, and that was our appetizer, but I'd end up having like 5 of them and I was stuffed and I can't even eat the turkey or anything. So I think that's one of those things I want them to really have, that Italian culture, because when I think of Thanksgiving, I mean, think of Italians, we always, you know, pasta's always there, right? It's always in the mix. You always have to have it before turkey. And a lot of people that don't have that Italian heritage, they don't have that at all. They're like, what are you talking about? You have the normal turkey and the sides that go along with it. It's like, yeah, but gotta have your pasta before the turkey. That's the good stuff. So it's good.
Justin, the questions I see on Facebook are pouring in.
They're coming in, and I know we're kind of wrapping up here, but I think we can probably close out the questions with the most loaded question of all. So Debbie DiGiacobbe wrote in. She said, "I've seen all of your Kitchen Cousin shows, and all your creations are gorgeous. Where do you get your inspiration?"
My inspiration, it's a
loaded
very good
question of the night.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I am constantly, you know, it's you know, when they do say you have to love what you do, you truly do, because I immerse myself in design and in construction. If you go onto my phone and you look at who I follow on Instagram, I don't even really follow friends. It's all design companies and designers, because I just always want to see more. I'm always looking to see what's out there, what's new, what are other people doing, because in our field, you can always learn. You can always learn from each other to see what's going on. And one of the biggest things pre-COVID was being able to travel. Being able to go to Europe or go to other areas of our own country. I always love doing that because I love mixing and matching different designs that come from different places that are around the world. It's, a lot of people think you have to stick in one element of design just because of the place that you live, and you don't have to do that. That's what really makes your design special, makes it outside the box, makes it different than what your neighbor has. Everyone's like, oh, well, they have this, I'm just going to have to do the same thing and what they have over and over and over. And I don't like doing that. I definitely think you should take certain factors, but I think there should be other things that make your project unique and special. And I'm always looking for that. I'm always saying, well, how can we make this different than your brothers or your sisters or your parents or whatever you're doing? Let's make it unique unto itself.
Yeah. You mentioned COVID. How has that impacted the business and also the production side for you?
So production side of doing any television or digital media, very difficult. Everybody pretty much, and things are starting to pick up now a little more, but this past year, I mean, but there was a lot of things I was supposed to do, I just could not do because their companies or they just weren't doing live shoots, or things were through Zoom. That's why the most recent show last year that I did with Ellen, the Design Duo, that was all through Zoom. We did Zoom with people that were from around the country, giving them these design ideas and design plans that were just like this. For my personal business, my personal design and construction business, it's been actually phenomenal. My industry has really been one of the industries that has been booming. People are in their houses nonstop. They see all these projects. They're saying, I want my kitchen to be better. I want my bathroom. I want an outdoor space. I'm going to be spending more time at home. I need an addition. It needs to be larger for my family. So it's really, I've been, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but I've had so many people reach out to me, which I'm really thankful for, because I have some really fun, cool projects that I've been planning for that are coming up this spring that are going to be additions on people's homes and a lot of different aspects like that. So it's been a give and take. That's why, being an entrepreneur like myself and having my own business, I can bounce back and forth from doing the TV stuff and the media, and then I can do my own construction projects and design for clients that are my private clients, which is cool. It's actually, it's a great thing to be able to bounce back and forth like that. But it's COVID's been tough on so many people, especially in the service and travel industry. Those are the people that's why people aren't going on vacation. They have extra money, they want to spend it on their house. That's why our industry, our building design industry, has really been on the upswing.
So I know you're based obviously here in New Jersey, but we have people from all over the country watching right
Sure.
now. How far do you travel for your projects?
So I have two ways that I do my projects. I either just do design for people, or I'm their designer and I'm their construction manager. So many people, when they take on these projects, it's so overwhelming. There's so many things to do, to schedule, to buy. I am the manager that's going to kind of do all that for them. So I run all the subs. I make sure things are right. I put the plan together, because I always stress to people how important it is to plan those projects out way before they start. I help them with all of their budgeting. I do all that. And then as far as design goes, I do anywhere. I actually have a client that's out in California. Can't get much further, and especially in the US, than California. So I've designed their entire kitchen for them on my computer. I picked out all the materials. They have their own contractor there, and I've helped them order it and buy it, and it's worked out very easy. I like to kind of look at myself as almost like a therapist for people, because I do have a lot of knowledge, and I know taking on projects, especially construction, is very overwhelming. Someone like myself who's done hundreds and hundreds of them, I've lost count at this point. It's very commonplace to me. I know the process. I know how it's supposed to work, but many people maybe only do 1 to 2 renovations their entire life. And that is a big overwhelming factor, and it's something that they need help with, especially on top of having their own jobs, family. They have a lot of other things going on. So to throw a construction project in the mix, it's another job unto itself, and they can't handle it. And that's how a lot of people spend more money, takes more time. It's all the things you've always heard that happen to so many homeowners.
Yeah. Well, where can people watching find out more about you?
So of course, social media, at Colaneri John on Instagram, on Twitter, John Colaneri TV on Facebook, and then they can go to my personal website, johncolaneri.com. And if they go there, the links for everything throughout my entire career are on that website. My social media links are there, and it shows all my recent projects for my private business, and as well as any TV shows or companies that I'm doing work for in social media. And if they do want to do an inquiry, you can go right there. That there's a place that you can send me an email, and if you have a project that you want me to look at, or that you might think that you want me to design or construction manage, just go onto my website, johncolaneri.com, and send it on over.
Thank you so much, John. So before we wrap up here tonight, Justin, Mary, I know that there's ways that people watching right now could join Sons and Daughters of Italy in America.
Absolutely. So we are also on social media, so you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can go to www.osia.org. Under the membership tag, you can find the nearest local lodge, or you can join as an at-large member from anywhere in the world. And if you have any questions, you can email us at nationaloffice@osia.org.
Great. Thank you so much for that information, Justin. And thank you, John, once again. And thank you, everyone, for watching us here tonight. And we'll see you back on Facebook Live next Wednesday.